not a lot of hope that this time will be different, Fred.
All right, Chris Freites, thank you so much. So here in Orlando, I spoke with Senator Bill Nelson, who actually does have a lot of hope that something will pass. He believes that this time things are different and that Democrats are finally getting through to Republicans. Listen.
There was something that happened in that 15-hour filibuster that I think is getting through to the Republican senators. And so 60 is a big vote because that means that we have to get 14 Republican senators if we have all of our Democrats. But it's such common sense legislation. If you're on a terrorist watch list, you can't buy a gun. If you're on a terror list, you can't get on an airplane. So why should you buy a gun? If you've been on a terrorist watch list, which he was in 2013, 2014, then they have to ping the FBI once the purchase is made, so the FBI can go in and question them if they want to.
All right, so that's Senator Bill Nelson. Let's talk more about this with Larry Sabato. He's the director for the Center for Politics at the University of Virginia. Good to see you. And Jason Johnson, he's the politics editor for The Root. Good to see you as well. So, Larry, you first. The terror watch list proposal, especially applicable to what just happened potentially in Orlando. You heard from Senator Bill Nelson. He says, bottom line, it's common sense. But does that help promote that there may be a vote in favor of change?
Plus common sense, we don't associate the two words all that frequently. And look, Senator Nelson, I think it's good that he's optimistic and he's working for it, but he has to get, as he conceded, 14 Republicans. There is only one way you get 14 Republicans, and that is if some version is endorsed by the NRA. It's that simple. And then, Fred, it's not like that's the end of the process. It has to go to the House, where the chances are much, much smaller.
So, Jason, an endorsement from the NRA, not likely, but do you think as a result of what just happened at the Pulse not far behind me, that's the impetus that lawmakers have to say, perhaps there is some modification that needs to be made, and one of these four proposals just might be the answer?
Well, Fred, I got to tell you, I don't think so. I'm not optimistic. We've seen this time and time again. Children in Sandy Hook, a year ago, I lost an old friend in the assassinations in Charleston, Orlando. A colleague, Gabrielle Giffords got shot, and those things have not moved the members in the House and Senate to pass reasonable gun control reform. So I don't see anything radically changing on Monday. And I'll be honest with you, from an ideological standpoint, there are some real constitutionality questions about the no-fly list, and I don't know if I'm comfortable with the idea of the no-fly list preventing you from being able to buy a gun.
And you're saying because sometimes on the no-fly list or the terror watch list, that sometimes innocent people end up on the list. Right. There's some confusion of names or identity. That's why?
Yes, definitely. And that is extremely problematic. And plus, people are not always informed if they're on the no-fly list until they get to an airport. I think that's a slippery slope. So I don't see much possibility. I think there's going to be some real problems. They'll try on Monday, but I don't see the votes coming through.
So Larry, trust, is at the root here. It sounds like, especially what Jason is underscoring, that sometimes people don't trust the terror watch list. They don't even know if they're on it until they get to an airport, et cetera, and find out they're on, a no-fly list. So is a potential answer from Capitol Hill, or is it a reexamination, of law enforcement such as the FBI, those agencies that are, watching potentially dangerous behavior?
Well, Fred, let's remember that a large majority, even of Republicans, favors some of the proposals coming before the Senate. Democrats are nearly unanimous, and independents also strongly favor. So the truth is, I think the American public is ready for some change. It's our political system that is in gridlock. And it's perfectly obvious there's a dramatic party difference here. Democrats are in favor of these gun control measures, and Republicans, for the most part, are against. Who controls the Senate and the House? Republicans. I hate to bring everything down to partisan politics, but those are the facts.
All right, Jason, last word.
Look, I completely agree with Larry here. And here's the thing. Flipping 14 Republicans, there are not enough Republicans in purple states. You've got, Toomey in Pennsylvania, and you've got Rob Portman in Ohio, but there's not enough Republicans who are going to feel enough electoral pressure to flip their votes for this to actually get to the House, where it's certainly going to face a death under Paul Ryan.
All right, Jason Johnson, Larry Sabato, thanks so much, gentlemen. Always good to see you.
Thanks, Fred.
All right, it is a state of financial emergency.